Culminating Course Project for Strategic...
Hello and welcome to the Culminating Course Project for...
Thank you for listening to this presentation of my project. And I just wanted to say that this course has been informative and hopefully I can apply the knowledge I've gained in this project.
Let's get started with the description of my university. My university, I chose the title Fry University. It's a mid-sized campus in northwest Utah. The reason I chose Utah is because it's one of my favorite places to travel. The student body size is around 5,000. It's made up of mostly in-state and surrounding state students. The student to faculty ratio is 15:1. This allows for in-depth and intimate discussion in classes. Fry University is a residential campus that's not a part of any larger school system, and the people at the institution want to create an atmosphere of care and togetherness. Moving on from the description, the mission statement says, a student-centered institution, Fry University enlarges students' understanding of themselves and the world around them. This is done by integrating aspects of co-curricular learning into the framework of everything at Fry University. The development of each person academically, personally, and socially as students prepare to graduate is the calling of Fry University. This mission statement is interwoven throughout the whole project. Every decision I made was with the mission statement in mind. Moving on, we have the budget for Fry University. This is a very general budget, but it has key components that make a budget, which are revenues and expenses. On the left, we have our revenues. Like any college, the highest form of revenue is tuition and fees, and then we have transfer revenue, auxiliary services, and state appropriations, all adding up to about $77 million. And on the right, we have our expenses. And this is the $77 million divided in between all of these services, such as the president's salary, vice president's salary, residence halls, student engagement, things of that nature. But the one thing that I want to highlight is the Strategic Enrollment Management Planning Initiative, which is near the bottom of the table on the right. At Fry University, we've set aside money for the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan so that we can achieve these goals and become a better university. Now we'll be describing the subpopulations that will be creating the goals for the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan. One entity is student affairs, the next is academic affairs, and then marketing. These three will work in partnership and combine their knowledge and experience with students and create a better future for Fry University. This is due to the holistic development efforts for each student. This holistic development is the implementation of the mission statement in the Strategic Enrollment Plan. These departments will help bring in and keep students of different geographical, racial, and ethnic backgrounds. The combined knowledge will allow for students to be prepared academically and personally once they leave Fry University. This holistic development is the implementation of the mission statement. Now that we understand the mission of Fry University and the subpopulation we'll be working with, we're moving on to the organizational framework for the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan. This framework was derived from Hostler and Bontrager, 2015. At the top of this diagram is the executive team. They plan goals for the strategic enrollment plan. Some goals for Fry University are increasing student diversity and increase overall student development. Second tier to this framework is the Strategic Enrollment Management Steering Committee. Their focus is long-term SEM goals and strategies. For Fry University, we have increase minority students and faculty on campus and increase post-graduation student job attainment. Fanning off from here, we have the Recruitment Council and the Retention Council. The Recruitment Council sets recruitment goals. Some recruitment goals are increase out-of-state student population and increase international student population. On the other hand, Retention Council sets retention goals. Some retention goals are increase student engagement and increase diversity in students and faculty. Then these councils could have 3 to 4 subcommittees, and all of these committees and councils lead to the data teams. Every employee that's a part of the plan will be in charge of scanning the environment and seeing the SEM plan taking place. Second tier to moving on, we have the Strategic Enrollment Planning Framework. In this framework, there is the institutional plan, the key enrollment indicators, data collection and analysis, strategic enrollment goals, and strategies and tactics. First, we have the institutional plan. The institutional plan aligns with the mission of the university. Fry University is committed to a holistic development, thus increase in diversity and academic opportunities meets this mission. Key enrollment indicators are an increase in race/ethnicity of the student body other than white European students. Another indicator is an increase in geographic origin out of state. Data collection and analysis. Data will be collected on student approval, racial makeup of staff and students, and an increase in and out of state and country students all year round for the next 10 years. The 2 milestones, though, will be 5 and 10 years, seeing if the goals are being achieved. Strategic enrollment goals. There will be specific goals for each key enrollment indicator, such as the long-term and short-term goals discussed later. Tactics and strategies. The goal is to keep costs down for SEM initiatives while staying focused on the goals set forth and mission of the institution. Now I will discuss the executive summary, which outlines the problem, solutions, and an action plan to implement these solutions. First, we'll discuss the problem. Fry University lags behind its sister schools in the area of academics. Fry also is predominantly Caucasian students due to location. Recruitment is limited to Utah and the surrounding areas. This lack of a minority presence on campus could be rooted systemically. Fry is about inclusion, thus the eradication of these ideals is inclusion. Enrollment goals that are part of the executive summary are as follows. A 2.5% increase each year for the next 10 years of enrolled students. An increase of students from the Eastern, Northern, Midwestern, and international regions. An increase of minority students and an increase of minority faculty and staff population. The action plan for Fry University is to create learning, create leaders, and create longevity. In creating learning, we must make sure our students are prepared for their fields by professors that care. To create leaders, we must understand forming students into the best versions of themselves and showing them they can be and do anything they set their minds to is critical. And lastly, create longevity. We want our students to be willing to commit to themselves, their immediate world, and their future. Here are a few short-term goals that will help meet the strategic enrollment plan and that are in line with the university's mission. By 2026, there should be a 10% increase of students from outside of the Utah area. By 2026, there should be a 10% increase in the minority populations at Fry. By 2026, there should also be a total of 3.5% of the student population that is considered international. A 5-year goal is to have a 70% approval rating of student engagement for the student population. Another 5-year goal is having an outside evaluator rank Fry University in the top 15 of universities in Utah. The last short-term goal is to increase graduate employment rate. Our 5-year goal is to have 80% of graduates in a job related to their field. The long-term goals for the strategic enrollment plan are by 2031, there should be an increase of out-of-state students by 20%. Fry University will also increase minority populations from less than 30% to 45% in the next 10 years. International student population should be doubled by 2031. Student engagement will be evaluated by state and nationally recognized entities over the next 10 years. Student engagement should have an approval rating of 85% or more from the student population. A 10-year goal is to be ranked in the top 5 of universities in the state of Utah. And the last goal is an increased graduate employment rate. The 10-year goal is to have 93% of students in a job related to their field of study. Action steps to achieve these goals and fulfill the mission of Fry University include increasing recruitment in desired regions. This could look like sending recruitment officers to different high schools and letting them set up during college fairs and things of that nature. We could also increase digital and in-person marketing, create scholarships for minority students and students out of state. To encourage students to come to Fry University, we could give financial needs to students that are out of state. We could also increase staffing in student affairs with diverse people to engage the different types of students. Sometimes it's easier to relate to someone that you share common factors with. We should also increase visibility of employment opportunities, posting jobs on Indeed and national websites so that people of all walks of life could apply at Fry University. We should also create partnerships with local businesses to help graduates find jobs after college, and create relationships with recruiting companies that help facilitate job searches. This is the current demographic and geographical statistics for Fry University. On the left, we have what the student body looks like demographically. As you can tell, Fry University is majority white Caucasian. On the right, you can see that the student body is almost 3/4 in-state students. Moving on from the current statistics, we have the desired statistics demographically and geographically. On the left again, we have the desired demographic makeup by 2031. You see a slight decrease of Caucasian students and a 20% increase in minority populations and international students. And then on the right, you can see a 25% increase geographically of the student body of out-of-state students in the next 10 years. Fry University wants to meet students academically and personally where they are. Fry can do this by following the action plans and goals set in the strategic enrollment management plan set forth. If Fry does this, it will go on to grow and become a university of impact in an ever-changing world. Fry University wants to meet students academically and personally where they are. Fry can do this by following the action plans and goals set in the strategic enrollment management plan set forth. If Fry does this, it will go on to grow and become a university of impact in an ever-changing world.